So on the integral column, I want to do something like the integral of x squared dx. Because I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, well, when I did derivatives, I would take the exponent, put it in the front, multiply, and subtract. So when I do integrals, I have to do the opposite. Add 1 to the exponent, and instead of multiply, you're dividing. And you're dividing by the one after you add the 1, you're dividing by the higher exponent. Because if you look at this, I'm going to do this one over here for fun. So y equals x cubed over 3 plus c. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, okay, what's y prime? 3x squared over 3, the derivative of c is 0, so that's x squared. So we have this integral rule. If I have x to the n dx, the antiderivative is x to the n plus 1 over n plus 1 plus c. Now, this does not work when n equals what number? Negative 1. So n cannot be negative 1. And if you try to do this rule when n is negative 1, see, you're going to get division by 0. So it's no good. Well, the rule for negative 1, well, that's the logarithm, natural log. Y equals the natural log of x. The derivative of the natural log of x is 1 over x. And there it is. That is x to the minus 1. So when n is negative 1, you might see it written as the integral of x to the negative 1 dx. That's the integral of 1 over x dx. Then that is the natural log. Now put absolute value around that because natural log is only defined for positive numbers. So the natural log of the absolute value of x. We see students trying to do this all the time. So I'm going to close out with this. Be careful. If I have something like the integral of 1 over x minus 3 squared, I see students doing this and it's not correct. Natural log x minus 3. We see that a lot. And I want to say this is not true. That's not the integral. Problem here, look at this exponent. It's a 2. This is only when it's a 1 in the bottom, or if I wrote x minus 3 raised to the negative 1. That's the only time you use natural log. This is not correct. But what about this problem? Yes, and it's a u substitution. I can write u to the negative 2. I'm using this rule for this problem. So if I have the integral of 1 over x minus 3 squared dx, I could say, well, u is x minus 3, and du will equal dx. So this becomes the integral of 1 over u squared du. And I did say this yesterday. In my head, I kind of need to see it written u to the minus 1. Because if I'm trying to add 1 and all that jazz, it just gets too hard for me to think about all that. U to the minus 1 times negative 1. And then go back and resubstitute. My final answer would be negative 1 over x minus 3. It's raised to the first power, so I can leave that part off. But there's my final answer. And that is correct. Okay, so I'm gonna